I'm not ready yet.
It's recording, isn't it? Hi, Nick and Mike. I'm going today to make a video that talks about the offense that our teams have used really since 1980, and we've been very successful with it, with conference championships and playoff appearances and so on. I want to give you a basic overview, and in that overview we'll talk about personnel, we'll talk about how defenses play us, an understanding of defenses, and the big thing, and the part we'll get to, is the exact execution of the main part. Now I wanted to make sure that we got this on the video. You will have a copy of this, but it's good for you to pause the video on these sheets, because I want to talk about what we're going to talk about here, and I want you to get an overview of what I'm going to cover. First thing is just the basic things about our offense, some personnel placement, the use of formations, and some of the things that we do. I want to talk about cadence, because cadence allows us to do some things with shifts and motion and so on. And then the offense is based on two plays, 34 and the play action passes that come off of 34, and 44 and the play action passes that come off of those, and then a few important auxiliary plays. Now when you are designing your offense, you will add things that have meaning to you, and things that take advantage of your beliefs and so on. When we get done with that first section, the second section is really pretty quick. I'm going to just mention some stories here that have relevance in our offense and why we do things. And then section 3, I'm going to talk about areas of the field offense, and also defenses that you're going to be facing, 7-man front defenses, 8-man fronts, and the heavy run defenses. And an understanding of those is important as you call plays on the sideline and actually put your game plan into the game week. The last section, I'm going to concentrate almost entirely on the actual blocking rules and steps and things that we do with 34 and 44, and then a few other auxiliary plays here. Okay, so get started here. The offense is really based on two plays. It's based on 34 and the play action that comes off of that, and it's based on 44 and the play action that comes off of that. In the simplest form, on 34, we would be lined up in this type of an alignment. I'm going to go ahead and put the receivers out here wide and the quarterback under the center here. But on 34, we have a down block, a down block, a down block, a down block. We have the pulling guard kicking out and the pulling tackle sealing through. The quarterback is going to open up, come out. The tailback is going to counter step and take the ball kind of heading downhill in this direction here. And the fullback is going to seal the backside edge, and then the quarterback will continue out and run the boot. Now, this play to us is 34, and when the quarterback fakes 34, this is our 134 out the backside. Okay, the second play that this is based on is 44 and the play action off of that. And just like 34, the tight end down blocks, down blocks, down blocks, down blocks. In this case right here, the fullback is the kick out person and the guard pulls through. On this, the quarterback is going to hand off to the tailback, and the tailback, of course, is going to find the crease to run in, and we'll talk more about all of this later. The quarterback then, and this is real important, has to, on every time we run 44, has to fake that he has faked the ball and kept it back here and set up and pass. Now, the play action that comes off of this is what the quarterback throws from here, and he really has the entire field. And again, we'll get into that more as we get into the total lecture. Let's talk about personnel placement here. One of the things that is important, I think, is flip-flopping the line. Now, the reason for that is that the strong side of the offensive line is going to see certain defenses and certain stunts, and they're going to be required to be more physical and block at the line of scrimmage and get some movement. The offside, if we're running 34, we pull both of these guys, and so they've got to be able to pull, and they're more agile blockers. If we're running 44, we only pull one guy, but the fullback is involved in this. Now, so given what I just said, the strong tackle, I like to have him be a big guy if you've got one big guy. He does not have to be a great athlete. He doesn't have to have real good foot quickness. We do use him to pull some on the quick toss to the strong side, and I'll go through that more, but he doesn't have to be an agile person. What we do like him to be able to do is to be able to block on the tackle and be a physical mismatch with this guy. He doesn't have to be a basketball player. He doesn't have to be really an athlete. He's got to just be somebody that, because of his size, that he can match up with other defensive tackles, because they're usually going to put one of their best guys right here. The strong guard is almost like the strong tackle, but he can be a little bit smaller, or of course he can be the same size, but again, his job is more to get a little bit of movement on this side of the line. The center can be any size. In high school, I had centers that were 150 pounds. In college, I've had centers that ranged from 100 and probably 80 to 200 and maybe 80 pounds. But a good thing that if the center is smart and can make some decisions, it also helps you. Your quick guard has got to be sort of your stud on the offensive line. He is very similar to the fullback if you're featuring 44. Now, if you don't have a great fullback, you can feature 34, and he is more just of a backside blocker on that. But the good thing about 44 is that you got certain play action passes that really help your total offense. But this guy right here is a stud. He can be any size. I have, give me just a minute. I'm going to go get something here. Just keep it on. I want to show you a picture of two of the best pulling guards that I've had. The first one is Tom Rossi, and he's probably the best. Now, I'm not big. I'm 5'8", probably, and you can see that standing beside Tom, he is shorter than I am. I think he weighed about 240, 245, maybe even 250, but he was a great lineman for us in college. The second guy that was a great lineman is this guy right here. And again, you can see the height of him compared to me. So you don't have to have a big guy, a tall guy, but you need somebody that is loves to play the game and get in there and battle. Your quarterback can be any style of quarterback. I like somebody who can run the boots, but it's also important that they can execute the play action passes because this is based on two running plays. There are a lot of passes that come off of there, and he is the guy that offenses this part of the field, while the offensive line, the fullback and the tailbacks are more offensing the box area here. The tailback, the better tailback you have, the better. I've had tailbacks, the tailback that I had at St. Thomas, and also the best tailback I ever had at Lambeth. Both of those guys were like 5'7", 5'5", 5'6", and probably weighed 180 pounds or so. I also have had tailbacks that were 220, 230, and of course they're more of a power type of runner, but any kind of tailback that is a threat is a good person to have. It's nice if he has speed because the quick toss can get out here or the quick toss can get out here if defenses are doing things where they're doing a lot of stunning and so on like this, and all of a sudden you're out on the edge, and of course we have some blocking on the edge going on also. The best receiver is usually the X, and the reason for that is because we run 34 so much, and the 134, he is directly involved in that. Z has got to be a little bit more multi-talented and maybe even a little smarter player, because we will use him in a lot of different positions and motions and shifting and so on, and he has to block against safeties and corners and things like this, so he's got to be a little bit more of an athlete. The tight end, again, at the university level, I've had some big tight ends. The one we had most recently at Rockford was about 6'4", 260, but I've also had guys that were first team all-conference tight ends that were 5'11", maybe 6 foot, and 185 or so. The big thing is they got to love to block in here like this, but they have to be agile enough to be a receiver down the field. Okay, now I want to go over some basic formations that we use, and I'm going to start with the tailback, and Mike already knows this, but the backfield formations that we have used with this, at one time I used a split back, which was two tailbacks. These guys were exactly equal in the things that they were required to do, and they had to be able to J-block because we did not flip them, but they also needed to take the ball and be good runners. I have gone to the offset formation, and this works really well. The fullback can get a good kick and come over. Of course, in this, we had these guys at 4 to 4.5 yards or so. Most recently, we've used more of a tailback back at 7. Sometimes the fullback will be here and sometimes over here, and I'll get into more of that because there is a lot of detail with a fullback. Okay, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to take the quarterback off of there. This is what we call right formation. If we flipped and went left formation, we would flip everybody in the offensive line. Of course, the center is going to be over the ball. And the tight end would be over here, the strong guard would be here, and the strong tackle would be here. And this would be called right formation. Now, many times defenses will get an extra person that we need to take care of, and let's say that he is in this kind of a position, and he may even move up here on the line of scrimmage like this, or it could be the Sam linebacker that moves up in here like this. But we have a need to be able to block here. So I just talked about this is right formation. If we move this guy into here, we call this formation right viper. Now, for the most part, our formations that involve the wide receivers are called by snake names. We also sometimes, even though we're running primarily over here, this guy here is getting his nose into here like that, and sometimes we want to be able to block this area in here like this. So if we called Mamba, another snake name, he would come into here and he would adjust any distance that he wants to, even up to a tight position here. But normally we flex him just a little bit. And this would be called Mamba. Okay, now if we use a compressed formation with X and a compressed formation with Z, we call this formation BOA. BOA, of course, is a constrictor, and we have constricted the defense on both sides, and now we've got a guy that can block this area, and got a guy that can block this area. If we started off with right formation here, and we bring this guy over here like this, this would be right cobra. Whoops. Right cobra. Now, let's see, I want to make sure that, we also have a right wing position where he would be even tighter than the viper, and this would be our right wing. Of course, we can be in left wing and so on also. Okay, we have a formation that we call green mamba, and what green mamba does is it puts the Z in motion automatically. If we call green mamba, he knows that he's going to go in motion, and he is going to end up out here like this. So we've got both receivers here, but we've got a different type of alignment. Just a little thing like this causes the defense a problem, because if they tighten up this corner here like this, our X receiver can get down into this area real quickly, and it's almost impossible for the will linebacker to cover him. And if the free safety is over here, this is still a big void in the area. But it's also can be a good run formation for us also. we have a tight formation, and if we go into, if we would call right tight, then our X receiver would come in and be a double tight end, or we would substitute and have two tight ends in the game. For what we asked to have done, the X receiver can usually do a pretty good job with that. We have two spatial formations that I want to mention, and these are simple things to do, but they cause a little bit of havoc. And the first one is what we call over. And in our over formation, what happens is our tight end now is covered up, and our 7 offensive linemen are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The tight end can't be a receiver, but we do still have 2 receivers on this side, and this gets us a person that can block this area here, and also somebody who can keep the corner out of this, and nobody's assignment changes. A lot of times in over, we will start out like this, and we will zoom, and that's our motion for a Z-back, which means to move across the formation. And during the cadence, he'll come over here like this, and we'd end up in a formation like this. This formation is called over, and on it, the tight end, or excuse me, the X receiver is just over on the other side. All right, we have another formation that we run quite a bit, and we call this strong. And that first one would have been a right over, and over just tells the X receiver to be over on the other side. If we're running strong, and let's do a right strong, now what happens is that we take our quick tackle and we exchange him over here like this, and we're still in an over formation, but what we've done is got more of a strong side over here with 3 offensive linemen that are here to block. Now, if we're running 44, the tight end can just step and hinge, and he can execute that job really well. And if we were running 34, the tight end, because he's an agile person, can pull along with the strong guard, or quick guard. Now, one of the reasons that we do this is if our tight end happens to be in college a 180-pounder, he is not big enough to be a real physical blocker. So what we do is we bring more of a physical guy over on this side, and we have 3 offensive linemen that are in this area. And on strong also, we can zoom into that, and now the Z would go in motion and come over here like this. And those are formations that give you a blocking advantage, and they're good things to have. I forgot to mention this, and as I thought of it as I was drawing this right in here like this. And I want to come back here because I want you to see this. Okay, let's say that the defense is using an extra person in here, and it might be that they're in more of a 4-4 type of defense. All right, in order to, normally what happens is our Z, we just tell him, we tell him this: we'd rather have you block the strong safety, but if the strong safety is where you can't get to him, just go ahead and block the corner. When we come into Viper, or we come into wing, it doesn't change anything for anybody except the Z. And now it tells the Z that we want you to block the first guy here, 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 and here. So the first guy he comes to. And so we're blocking the edge. The same thing is true if we went to Mamba and we came in here. It changes his blocking assignment from blocking the corner to blocking the edge, and he would block the first person that is in this area. So far, we haven't moved any of the offensive linemen. Now, keep in mind that we do have left formation and everybody flips, but we're causing some different things for the defense. Also, by bringing these guys in here like this, they can still run routes out into here and can offense this area here, but they can also get across the field and get into these positions more. And if we're running the boot, sometimes it's good to have the Z receiver be able to get there. And I should have changed this back to normal right when I was talking about the edge blocker. Okay, now I want to, let's go back to this right here. The Z has three things that we have him do, and his three things are zip, zen, or zoom. And zip, this means we want Z, the I stands for in and the P stands for position, and we want him to be in motion and come in here and be in position when the ball is snapped right here off the backside guard. Now, if he were in Cobra to start with, and let's say that we're running 34, and let's say I'm running 34 power, and I'm going to talk about this more later, but we would start here like this. And in this particular case, we are in right, Cobra, zip, 34 power. All right, so from here, he would go in motion and come back, and he would be in position right here. Now, we're running 34 power. So this guy does normal 34, normal 34, normal 34, normal 34, normal 34, normal 34. Now we have the Z here to block off the backside edge. But what we've done here, with our tight end blocking down and our quick, strong tackle blocking down, we have this guy coming off the edge, and he becomes an edge blocker. So the reason I got this in there, I wanted to show you zip motion. And zip to us is something that we use quite a bit. All right, now let's go zen. All right, and let's say we were running 34 again. Now we need somebody off the backside there, and that's the fullback. But now he would motion, and he would come in, and he'd be right in this area. So this means Z is coming in. And so on the snap of the ball, he's right here in his Viper or his wing position. And zoom, I've already talked about that. That's where he goes across the formation. Now you can come up with other names also on this. All right, the next thing is our fullback positions. And we're still running 34 and 44, but our fullback has the basic positions. This is what we call our A position, this is the I position, and this is the B position. So if we wanted to, we could put him in any of these positions by just calling, let's say we called right A 44. All right, now by calling that, fullback is here, but we're running 44. So our call was right A 44. The fullback knows that he lines up in the A position, but he's either got to shift to this position over here, which is the B, or he's got to go in motion, because to run 44 he has to be able to do this. And so we can position him in the A, the I, or the B position. Now, if we put him here, this becomes ace formation. Right ace. Or if we flip-flop the line, left ace. If we put him here, we call that queen. Now, let's look at queen for running 34. This guy is out here like this, and when we pull this guy and we pull this guy here like this, it's really pretty easy for him to be in this position, but on the snap of the ball he also pulls and is able to do the same thing as he would from this position here. But now let's say we were running 134 and we called right queen 134. All right, now what we want him to do is seal this edge here, and he's in great position to do that as we get our quarterback coming out here like this. So that's queen. If we put our fullback over here, this is king. Now if we called right king 34, he knows that he has to be over here to block 34. So he knows that we put him here out of the huddle, but he's either got to shift or go in motion to get back over here where he was. So this is king, this is queen. Now, we also sometimes want our fullback to be out here, and this would be jack formation. And then there are sometimes we want our fullback to be out here, and this is python. This would be right python. And again, if we were running 44, he knows that he's got to come in motion and be ready to kick out here, or right 34. But we may be running 28, and he's now out here where we're going to run the quick toss to this side, and he's out there. So the fullback can be in all those positions by call. And later on, when I talk about our cadence, I'm going to talk to you about something else here. Now I want to talk about the tight end positions. If we want him on the normal side, this would be right. If we want him to line up over here, and of course he'd be off the ball now, and he'd be on the ball, this would be exchange.